Welcome to the Superconscious Success Podcast, where Jen and her Superconscious Success family co-hosts bring you valuable content each and every week on topics relating to manifestation, spirituality, and most of all, using your superconscious to manifest success in all areas of your life. Now on to today's episode.
Hey there, Superconscious Success fam. Welcome to the Superconscious Success podcast segment, Raising Prosperity Consciousness. In this segment, I interview experts on the topic of manifesting money and business success by raising our consciousness levels and altering our perception of lack. Now, my guests will discuss topics such as manifesting prosperity with the divine, altering money mindset from one of poverty or lack to one of prosperity, and reprogramming our belief systems to be one of complete abundance. Now, today I am absolutely thrilled to have the energy shifter on the podcast to discuss money mindset and changing our money blocks to bring more prosperity and success into our lives. Her name is Laurina Anderson, and she is a world-class life and energy coach who empowers her students to live life on a whole new level. Now, like many, Laurina had her own set of challenges growing up. She was raised in a basement apartment on the south side of Chicago. She became a high school dropout. She was married at 18 and was a single mother to two beautiful daughters by the age of 26. Now, barely managing to make ends meet, she was all too familiar with the lack mentality. Now she guides people on how they can shift their energy so that they may create abundance in their own lives. Hey, Laurina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Wow, that was a beautiful intro. Thank you. And thank you for having me on here. I really do appreciate it because I love sharing my message. I believe, like you said, that you believe that you're the networker and that you bring people together. Well, I truly believe that I'm the messenger and the networker all in one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I truly appreciate being on the show with you and sharing what I know because it's so exciting.
No, it is, isn't it? I can feel your energy. It is so amazing, and I love interviewing and I love connecting with people because everybody's got their own stories, but just the energy that you can feel through the computer screens. I mean, how lucky are we in today's society that we have got the ability to connect with people on the other side of the world, which we've never had for centuries. And now it's just amazing to be in that new day and age where anything is possible. And what we're talking about today, we're talking about that whole lack mindset, but how we can turn that into one of prosperity, one of, I was saying to you before we started, I was saying how, our purpose here on earth, we're actually designed to be wealthy. We're designed to be abundant because the more wealthy and abundant and prosperous, and I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about in all areas of our lives, then the more we're able to help other people. The more we're able to fulfill our missions as light workers, as starseeds, as whatever we've been put here to do. So I'm excited to talk to you today about energy and about money because we kind of have a little bit of a warped idea as to what money is. So I'm excited to go through that. But before we do, I want you to delve a bit deeper into your story because I've given a bit of an insight, but delve a bit deeper into your story and why you became the energy shifter.
Well, yes, I was always a peacemaker in my family growing up as a young child. And, mother and father were constantly fighting back and forth. And then my dad would call me whining and complaining. How about my mom? My mom would call me on the other line.
You're in the middle.
And I was always in the middle. So, but that was great training though, because I could calm both of them down and I could relax them and then they could move themselves forward. Well, that continued. I mean, one of the things that I did go through was abuse as I was not only growing up, but in my first marriage as well, and poverty. And it was a lot of struggle. It was, oh my God, I could play victim so well. It wasn't even funny, I mean, I remember one time going to Burger King and I had a coupon. If you buy one Whopper, you get the other one
Mhm.
for free. That would have been our food, our dinner
Oh.
for my two girls. I had one, and then I'd split the other one,
Mhm.
and that was their dinner. And then we got French fries, you know. So that was kind of, you know, after my first divorce, that's kind of where I was, because it was a very tough time to try to make ends meet. So
Mm.
I became a real master at it, you know.
Yeah.
And and then you know, time went by. My youngest daughter's mentally handicapped,
Mhm.
so you know, there were special needs there as well. Um, and I managed to um, step by step. You know, I never really projected out into the future
Yeah.
because that was such an unknown to me. So it was
Mm.
just step by step, one foot in front of the other, and that's all I did all the time, every day, and slowly started building a career in sales,
Okay.
and realized that I still had people calling me all the time, you know, looking for advice, you know, sharing their drama with me, and um, and I found that to be really fascinating because I was in my own victimization at that time as well.
Mhm.
So I did have an awakening where all of a sudden um, it was it was very interesting because I was watching Oprah,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, the
I used
very
to love
first time.
Oprah.
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. But when she first started out, you know, I think after a year or two or whatever, all of a sudden she started bringing on spirituality.
Mhm.
She brought on people that, you know, were either mediums, or she brought on in people that connected with angels. And
Mhm. She
all of a
did.
sudden, that's what woke me up, was that angel connection. And I've been working with them ever since.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so as I was making my way forward, I was single for about 12 years and then remarried for 13. And during that time period, there was something inside of me that said, okay, you got to go back to school.
Mhm.
You have to go back to school, because I started going to therapy. And
Okay.
I found therapy to be so insightful and so full of knowledge as to why I'm behaving in the way that I am.
Mhm.
And it was just, it's such a turning point for me that I ended
Yeah.
up going back to school.
Oh.
Went back to school while during my second marriage. So and I didn't stop because I went back to school at like 37, 38 years old.
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
I always
and
say that I'm like the nonstop learner, because I remember my dad always saying to me, "Look, the day that you stop learning is the day you might as well die," because, you know, we've got so much to learn, and if it's not about something else, it's about ourselves.
yes,
And when you
absolutely.
yeah, and when you go through that awakening. So what so then you went to school to become a therapist?
I did. As a matter of fact, I went through, I did a little bit of the community college because I really had to refresh myself, you know, at
Yep.
38.
Yeah.
I didn't really have it going there. So I started with the community college. Everything was transferred to the liberal arts college. I finished that in 3 years and then got into advanced standing in my master's program.
Okay.
And then I was working as a therapist in the addiction field, which was really great foundation.
Mhm.
I mean, it taught me a lot about the addiction itself, about the disease, and how that disease takes over people's minds, their bodies. You know, just takes them
Envelops them,
and
doesn't it?
oh,
Yeah.
it won't let them go though. You
Yeah.
know, it's a tough thing. So, but then I decided that I didn't want to work in agencies anymore.
Mhm.
And I really wanted my own practice. I wanted to be able to really work with people that are dealing with life issues.
Mhm.
And and to add that spiritual piece into it, because we're all spiritual beings
We
having a
are.
human experience, you know, and
Mhm.
we signed up for this,
Yeah,
and then we run away from it. You know, we
exactly.
said, oh no, you know, I can't wait to get to earth again, and to be able to feel and to be
But
able
of
to have
course we
all these
forget all of that.
emotions.
But of course we forget
Oh,
all of that when we come to Earth. And so our job
absolutely.
here is to is to relearn it, is to awaken to the reason why we're here. And so that's our job.
Yeah. And but the other thing is, it's to feel everything. Feel everything. And the reason why I say that is because we're a whole energy field. And our energy field is from the inside that goes out. That's our aura. Right? But nobody wants to feel.
No,
you know, everybody's
they want to cover everything up. They want to cover everything up. And I've always said to my kids from a very young age, I've always said, you've got to feel your feelings and you've got to express your feelings, because the more you hold them in, then the longer they're going to start to fester and fester and fester. And then all of a sudden it explodes. And
that's what's called an energy contraction. Energy contraction lives within the body. You feel it. So you're absolutely on target. You're right. You have to feel it. But the thing is that we don't want to feel the hurt. And that's what we run away from. But when we don't allow the hurt or the pain or the anguish to move through us, it gets stuck like glue. And then we go to make all of our decisions based on that, based on the distortedness of that pain. So great job, Mom. Great job.
Well, I think that it's really important, like you said, that we, you know, even when our kids go through things. I mean, I know my daughter was bullied at the high school, and she'd come home crying, and it's about allowing them. I've now learned, because I'm an empath, as I can see you are. And I know that as empaths, we do struggle with that whole separating ourselves from other people's emotions, because we can feel it, and we can feel it so deeply. And so I've had to learn and had to retrain myself to just allow them to be in their space, to allow them to go through that pain, through that hurt, without me feeling like I have to become involved. And
or you gotta fix it.
I'll try to fix it, because the whole purpose of this particular, I believe that everything that happens in our life happens for a reason, and it's all a learning lesson that we have to learn from. And so it's important that we allow them to experience those lessons and experience that hurt, and understand that they will get through it. It's just like, you know, when you've had pain in your life, and I've had pain in my life, and, you know, being around narcissistic people that drain you, energy vampires that drain you, because they tend to just attach to you as an empath. But that's that energy that we're talking about. That's that. Because we are such, as you said, we are such loving people that just want to help people. And so I think that, you know, I can tell you're an empath that really wants to help people, but you've got your energy management like in check. And you know exactly what because boundaries is such an important thing for empaths. So I think that's amazing. And I think that, you know, once you actually learn about feelings and emotions, and I'm fascinated by emotions, because I think that if we can stop believing that it's wrong to be angry, or that it's wrong to be sad, or that it's wrong to feel what we're feeling, then I think we'll move through things a lot easier.
Yes, absolutely. And you're right, with empaths, as we were growing, we always put ourselves into the middle of everything. That's why I said, you know, when my mom and dad, I was the peacemaker. I was right in the middle, you know, and then I was trying to fix it. And that's what we do as empaths. But yes, you come to a place where you have the ability of just being in your aware self and your higher power. And just being that mama who just grabs the baby and just allows them to go through whatever. And then we take it to the next step, though. And the next step is, what new did you learn about yourself through that experience?
Absolutely. And this is what I knew. Because I mean, the whole of last year, I went through a dark night of the soul moment, and it was a real deep time. My husband was often like, like I'll just start crying for no reason. And it was just that release of just like, because I was going through so much spiritual awakening, so much like I was really tapping into the shadow side. I was really starting to get to know myself. And so then so he'd say, "Are you okay?" And I'd say, "Yeah, it's just I knew what was happening." And this is what I'm so blessed with, is because I know what's happening, then I can explain to them, look, it's not you guys. Okay, this is not about you guys. This is about my own internal work. It was dealing with stuff that happened in childhood. It was dealing with, the shadow side I didn't want to face. And so because of my own experiences, I created the self-empowered empath brand with a very good friend of mine, and we actually help empaths to manage this energy, which is fantastic. It's
that's cool.
Yeah, and to be able to block those energy vampires from taking your energy and draining you. So we've got a workshop on Saturday actually, teaching people about energy vampires and how they can actually how you can recognize them and what you can do to help block them. So so that's fantastic, because once you can understand energy, then you can understand money. Because I want you just in.
Oh, that was a great segue, honey.
Amazing. We start talking about empaths and energy vampires, and we go straight to money. That's fantastic.
Exactly. Well, I also just to end that one little piece. Energy vampires, it's not that they are looking to suck up your energy. It's because they're hurting so bad, and you vibrate at this level that they're attracted to you. But it's kind of like the moth to the flame.
Yeah.
They come in and then they run away. They come in and they run away because they can't handle the level of energy that we are.
Because the thing is, we do attract that which we are. So if we're at a high vibration, we're going to attract high vibration beings. If we allow ourselves to move towards the lower vibrations, then that's what we're going to attract. And unfortunately, we can't have both. So if, like I've noticed with my kids, if I'm on a real high, I call my high flying disc, that space of, which is typically what I am when I'm in an interview. It's that space of like total high energy, total vibing. When I'm on that place, if my kids are not in a good mood, they'll stay right away from me. And this is because it is so uncomfortable for someone on a lower vibration to be around a high vibration. And
yes, it is.
And so this is why we attract what we are. We attract that which resonates with us.
Exactly. But we also attract the others though too, because they want what we have.
Yeah, but they won't stay long.
Yeah. Oh, well, because I'm in the field and I work with a lot of people like that, it doesn't bother me. I don't take it on.
Because you've managed your energy now.
Yes.
You've managed the vibration. That takes a lot of work. And I give myself, as an empath, I give myself a pat on the back every time because like I said, boundaries are so difficult. Every time I set a boundary and I stick to it, then it's a pat on the back. It's like, good job, because
good for you. Good. No, you need to do that. Absolutely.
It's one of those things. And it's like my daughter was going through a hard time with a boyfriend the other day. And whereas I would have gotten involved previously and I would have asked a lot of questions and I would have, I just sat there and allowed her to be in her own space. And I allowed her to cry and I allowed her to do that. And I just said to her, sweetheart, I'm here for you if you need me. But, I'm going to just let you just go through what you need to go through. And I think that's really important, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. But also conclude that with, what new are you learning about yourself because of that experience? That's so important because we are so powerful.
Yeah.
And everything that is happening, we are creating, because if we didn't create that, we would not know where our wounds are located and we could not heal them then.
Yeah.
So
it allows us to get into that shadow side.
Absolutely. Oh, I've had quite a few nights of the shadow.
Oh, yeah. And they may not be comfortable, but I tell you what, the learning that you experience from it
yes,
is incredible.
Absolutely. So talking about energy and how we are energetic beings, money is just an energy.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But it's our beliefs that we have attached to that money.
Yeah.
And those beliefs usually start when we're younger.
Yep.
Because we hit those milestones of, you know, an example, going to a flea market, you know, and wanting to buy a book. And it was 5 cents. And having your mother saying, we can't afford that. What do you need that for? You're not going to read it anyhow. You know, so no, forget it.
Yeah.
Right. So we hold that inside of us, and then we make that mean something about us. That's the beginning of our lack poverty mentality.
Yeah.
So what I have learned as I have been training people and going through and watching them succeed, you know, and all of a sudden money starts coming in. And I said, because money loves you.
Yeah. And because you have a relationship with money, and people push it away, right?
Oh, you know why? Because they have a belief system that has been indoctrinated in them.
Yeah.
And one is, oh, well, you know, money is the root of all evil. Or, oh, you just love, you're just so material.
Yeah.
Or
you're greedy.
Yeah. And all you do is talk about your money. Well, that's all ego.
Yeah. That's the ego talking.
Nothing to do with spirit. Because with spirit, money and your soul are hand in hand.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They work together, because the soul has certain experiences that it needs to have in its life so that it can evolve.
Yep.
So it can move forward, right? And money has never hurt you ever.
No.
Never.
Never.
No. Money, it's money wants you to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Money wants it to grow. It wants to be invested. It wants to be shared.
Yeah.
You know, it wants to watch the interest grow in your bank account. You know, that's what money does.
Yeah.
Because the more that the money can do that, the more the soul has the opportunity of experiencing more joy, more happiness. As you said, we were meant to be here to be wealthy.
Yeah.
You know, we were, and wealthy, not necessarily just in money.
No, in everything.
Wealthy in your friendships,
Yeah.
wealthy in your relationship with your siblings, your relationship with your children, your career, feeling wealthy. I mean, you got to be feeling so abundant right now.
Yeah.
Because you're manifesting exactly what you want to do, and you're fulfilling that destiny, the divine destiny that's within you.
Exactly. And we are manifesting every second of every day, whether we like it or not. And so you can choose, okay, am I going to manifest money, or am I going to manifest lack? What is it going to be? Am I going to manifest more bills coming in because that's all you focus on? Or am I going to manifest more money coming in because that's what you focus on? Because like you said, and I love how you said that our soul and money work hand in hand, because our soul was put here to experience so much. It's gone, I want to go down to earth and I want to experience this and this and this and this and this. And to do that, unfortunately, in our 3D world, we need money. So that is our connection. And so I think once you build that relationship with it, then, you know, it loves you. It wants you to love it back. It wants you to love it back.
It wants to be taken care of. It wants to be nurtured, just like the relationship that you have, I pray, with yourself.
Yes.
You know, how do you talk to yourself? How do you support yourself? What are some of the kind words that you tell yourself? Like when you turn around and said that when you praise yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, excellent. You know, when you set those boundaries and everything, and then you give yourself a those, I'm like, absolutely. Well, you know, money wants to do exactly the same thing. It wants to be loved by you. It no longer wants to hold on to those negative beliefs that we come into this world with. People have received a Christmas gift and say, oh, no, you shouldn't have. I mean, really? Why did you do that? I'm like, this is the universe.
Serious? Yeah.
You. Yeah. Handing you abundance And what are you doing with that? I said,
Because
so that's another one.
Yeah, and I think because we're so programmed, as you said, from a very young age, we're so programmed to have a hard time receiving. And and what our parents say to us around money and their whole experience. I know my parents went through some very rough times when I was younger, and I remember the electricity being turned off. And I remember us, mum going without food so that she could feed us, like on multiple occasions. And so my belief system at a very young age was that it was
Yes.
hard to come by. And then as we grew up, they worked really, really hard to be able to, support us. And then they still struggled. So it was kind of like, then my belief was, okay, well, you have to work really hard to be able to survive. So
Right.
it's
And then you don't even survive then, because
exactly.
as you said, see, you have to be able to identify when that lack mentality comes in. And what are you doing with it? Now, being the fact that your energy,
Yep.
you feel it in the body.
Yes.
So I teach people how to dissolve and release that negative contraction within the body because it's stuck there due to a belief. All beliefs have a vibrational quality to them.
Yes.
So if you feel like you can, you're high vibration, high frequency. If you feel you can't, that's a low. So you're feeling that within the body. So when somebody turns around and says, oh, you know something? How about if we go out for dinner tonight? First thing that comes up is, oh, no, we can't afford that. Wait a minute, take a look at that belief because 9 times out of 10, that might not be so true. Yeah. And not only that, you can still go out. You can still have a hamburger and fries or whatever and not bust the bank, and enjoy yourself. Here's the other thing that's really interesting too, is that people that have made a lot of money, they don't love the things that they've bought with the money.
No, exactly.
They've negated it. I have my brother. He's a great example. He bought this brand new truck. He loved, and he just thought that was the cat's meow.
It only lasts for about a week, and then you're on to the next thing.
Not even that.
Oh my
Every
God.
time he climbed into that truck, he kept asking himself why he bought it. Why did I buy this? This is so expensive. Why did I buy it? And every time he would go to the gas station, oh, I can't believe that I bought this. He took all the joy and the happiness out of spending the money.
Yeah.
Even though that's really what he wanted.
And we do that sometimes. We go to the shops and we buy something because we've been dreaming about it, or we think it's something that we want, and then we spend the next week going, oh, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I spent all that money. And it's like, what's the point? If you're going to go and buy something and then beat yourself up over it, then you might as well not have bought it in the first place.
Exactly. And so I take it a little bit further also. I also take a look at credit cards, and I have the same belief around that.
Yeah.
You were granted this credit card, you get to purchase an item that you really wanted. Maybe it's a beautiful dress, right?
Yeah.
So you purchase the item, and then you sit there whining and complaining when the bill comes. And it's like, no. Love your money.
Yeah.
Love it.
In any form.
Feel it. Yes, but feel it and feel, because whatever you put your attention on grows.
Exactly.
So,
and I think that one thing that we struggle with is that whole aspect of receiving. And I know that I went into the supermarket the other day, and I believe that more and more people are doing the pay it forward. More and more people are just trying to help other people. There was this lady, she got to the checkout, and for some reason her card wasn't working. And she had to go outside to be able to sort out her card with the bank or whatever it was. So she left all of her shopping there. This guy goes in front and sees the shopping, and he says, I'm going to pay for it. All right. And so, which was beautiful. And I would have done it if I had been there, but he got in first. So he paid for it. And then she comes in, and we told her that he'd paid for it, and he'd gone by this stage, because generally you don't want praise when you do something like that. You do it out of the kindness of your heart. You do it because, money needs to be circulated. That's the whole purpose of money. And
it's energy.
it is energy. And so she comes to the counter and we tell her, and she goes, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed. How am I going to be able to deal with this? This is so embarrassing." And we're saying, "Look, it's okay." Right? It's okay. He wanted to do it. And she's like, "Oh no, I have to do it for someone else." I said, "Look, if you find somebody else that you feel needs it, then you do it for them. But
Yes, just pay it forward.
yeah, just pay it forward because and receive, accept." And
Yes.
she went out of the shop and she's like, "Guess what happened? Guess what happened? Someone paid for my groceries." She was so excited. So I think once you learn to receive and accept, and even if it's something as simple as, if I go to the servo and get a coffee and I get a free coffee or something, I am so grateful. I'm like, "Thank you, universe. Thank you for bringing this to me. This is amazing," because that's abundance.
Yes,
That's,
it is.
that's money. And I think it's how we look at it. It's how we interpret it. It doesn't have to be cold, hard cash. The universe has lots of ways of getting it to you, right?
Yes, yes. Well, we are circuitry. And in that energy field, that's why you said we're always creating and attracting, because it's going through us all the time. So if we don't allow ourselves to receive, we block that energy.
Yeah.
And we block that energy because of our beliefs, number one. Number two, somewhere down and deep inside, we feel then obligated.
Yeah.
Or like your woman, she felt embarrassed as if there was, oh my God, she couldn't afford her own groceries.
Her own groceries, yeah.
Do with that. Yeah.
Oh, and then her thing was, "Oh, look, seriously, I've got the money. I can afford it." So then she went into like protection mode and explanation mode, because we are so embarrassed about, we're so embarrassed about debt. It's something that we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about money, and we don't want to talk about debt, because that means that we don't have any control. And yet debt, if you look at it, is really just you purchasing something and then having to pay it back. I mean, it's no different than you going out and just purchasing something now. And I think if you start to relook at it and go, "You know what? It's okay, because the money's there and it's circulating."
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Because as I said, we're circuitry. So we are going to create and attract it. And not only that, but our soul needs it as well. So our soul is going, "Oh, right," and when we end up going into the poverty mentality, all of a sudden spirit can't feed us.
No.
And that's when we run into the belief that we have that there's just not enough.
Yeah.
Number one, there's just not enough. We're not enough.
Yeah.
We are somehow damaged because we cannot manage to find the right kind of career that's going to, make us millionaires.
Yep.
And the other thing too is we're unlovable. And the reason why we say we're unlovable is because there was also a traditional mindset that said that women needed to find a man, a wealthy man to marry, and then they said. And luckily enough, that pretty much is dissolved. Yes. So it's a very interesting phenomenon to identify what kind of beliefs are going on inside of your body,
and also how worthy you feel, because self-worth has a massive part to play when it comes to money. Super Conscious Success fam, thanks so much for joining me in this interview. And I'm just taking a short break in the interview just to let you know about an exciting offer that I have for you. I'm just in the process of building the Super Conscious Success Inner Circle, which is going to be a free membership that you're going to be able to get access to, which is going to eventually, once I've got it all built up, include courses and exclusive content and a whole heap of other stuff that's going to be available for you to help you to expand that consciousness and to come into your power. And it'll include content from all of my different segments, from super conscious success, your spiritual shift, raising a conscious human, and also peace and prosperity. And you'll include content from all of that, as well as the self-empowered empath, higher self-mastery, and a whole heap of other different collaborations and projects I have on the go. However, to get this free membership, you do need to go and sign up. So if you go to superconscioussuccess.com/inner circle, you can sign up absolutely free for it. As the content builds and I reach 1,000 subscribers, I will then be making it a premium product, which means that you will no longer get it for free. It will be a monthly charge. But if you get in now and you get into the free membership, then you will have that free for life. So head across now as we're in the building phase, and you'll start to get more and more awesome content flowing in. And yeah, so head on over there now, superconscioussuccess.com/inner circle. Now let's head on back to the interview.
Yes. Yeah. And you can always tell. I have an even simpler way of telling where their worthiness, deserving, and receiving is.
Mm-hmm.
And that is pay somebody a compliment and see what they say.
Yeah, that we have a real hard time receiving compliments, don't we? Most people, you'll say to somebody, you'd say, "Oh, your hair's looking beautiful today," and they'll go, "Oh no, it's a bit grey," and it's and rather than just say, "Oh, thank you," we kind of try to sort of like, we're embarrassed to receive, and it's like, well, why are they saying that?
Exactly. And so I do kind of like a test with my clients.
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh my gosh, your eyes look so bright today. I love your energy."
Yeah.
"Oh, really?"
Yeah.
"Yes." I'm not kidding.
Oh,
so I kind of test them so that I can open them up then and say, "Okay, wait a minute, where's the blocking? Why are you blocking that?"
Yeah, exactly.
And
because you can figure out straight away. It's like the moment somebody has trouble accepting a compliment without trying to justify, because we try to justify and we try to, I don't know why we do it though. Like, why do we try to prove that what somebody else has said is wrong? Like, rather than just say, okay, that's how they see us. They might say, "Oh, that's a beautiful shirt that you're wearing today," or, "Geez, you're looking vibrant," and we should just say, "Thank you so much," because that's energy. That's an energy exchange.
Absolutely it is. But people are so afraid to feel that.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden in their belief system, okay, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're giving me a compliment, what is it that you want?
Yeah. Exactly.
When we talk to our mom or our dad and say, "Oh, Mom, I love that dress on you." "Okay, sure. What do you want?" Or, "How much do you want?"
Yeah. She wants money.
Yes, exactly. Like my daughter, when she was in college, I get a phone call. "Oh, hi, Mom. As a matter of fact, she ended up going to Australia."
Oh, really?
In her senior year. Yes.
Awesome.
But it was very, very interesting how she was trying to, all of a sudden, "Mom,
Yep.
I need some money, Mom."
And it's funny because my daughter does the same thing, and now that I've set boundaries, it's really good, because it's like, not happening. My daughter, she's 18 and she runs her lash business. She does lash extensions, and she runs her lash business from home, and she does very well with it. And she's, so she has her own money now, which is awesome. And so, but she'll still try every now and then. She'll call and she'll go, "Mum, can you loan me this?" And I'll say, no, because you've still got to teach them the lessons. And for a long time, I would give in. And I was a sucker empath that struggled with boundaries. And now I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. I've told you, you've got the money. You've got to put money aside for this. I can't help you." But it's funny how they'll go all weekend and they're having fun with their friends or boyfriends, and all of a sudden we get the phone call, and I'm like, oh no, I don't.
Ain't happening, kid. Nope, so sorry.
Good try.
There are those occasions,
Yeah.
but when you're really clear with them and you have given them the foundation of how to deal with money, because let me tell you, I have met a lot of people that have such high energy, and they don't know what to do with it because they blow people away.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same. There you are.
There you are. Yep.
So you have to learn how to manage your energy. And that also means managing the energy of your money.
Yeah.
Because they all work together. So yes, I've had quite a few people that they come in and they just blow you away because their energy is so big.
Yeah.
But it's not contained.
Yeah.
You know, and when you have really big energy, you don't need to blow everybody away. You need to learn how to contain it, to come down into your body and just vibrate at that high level.
Yeah.
So, but
that's the thing. It can scare people when you're such high energy, and they're just like, whoa, okay. And especially if they're not in that space, like I said before, if they're not in that high vibe. I know that there's been times, like I said, when my kids have been in bad moods or something. My daughter's not a morning person, so generally first thing in the morning she's not in a great mood. But I'm a real morning person, and I'm also a real evening person. So but I like to first thing in the morning listen to music, and I like to get my vibration up, and I like to, because we know that first thing in the morning, if you start the day off right, then your day's actually going to be on a much better foot. So, but if they're in a real bad mood and they come out, they'll just look at me and go, oh. And they'll turn around and go back. So it's kind of like, so I love how you say that sometimes you can blow that, like that high energy can just go, okay, people, I just can't deal with it right now. I used to be a receptionist, and this is a perfect example. I used to be a receptionist, and I love, because I love people. I've always loved people. And so I'd love to answer the phone, and I'd love talking to people. And I was always very upbeat, very chirpy, very, and I'd have some people that would get on and they'd go, I just love your energy. I absolutely, is so good first thing in the morning to hear you. And other people would ring up and they'd go, oh, do you have to be so chirpy so early in the morning? So it's kind of like that, depending on what vibration they're in at that time, whether they can actually handle it or not.
You know, exactly. And I was much the same way, because when I first went out into sales, you know, I was selling paper, so fine printing paper. So I was going into all these printers, and oh my God, I would go in going, hi, how are you? You know, right? I had a nickname. It was called the Plastic Fantastic, because I hated my job, you know, I hated this sales stuff. So I overcompensated with this great big happy mask, you know? And I've got to tell you, people could see right through it. And it was way too much. I even had a girlfriend who, two girlfriends. One I went to skiing with. And the other one stayed back at home. So the one at home called the other one that I was with and said, is she really that happy in the morning?
I love it. So were you?
Oh yes, I was. I was thrilled. You know, I'm in Denver, outside of Denver, Colorado. You know, and I'm going skiing. Oh, I'm thrilled.
You're real happy.
Oh yeah. So, but it would just blow her away. It'd be like, oh my God, slow down,
again.
Girl. Relax. So I learned, you know, you have to manage your energy the same way as you have to manage your money. Because it's all the same. It's just the different beliefs that we put on the money, and we put on our energy too. our beliefs that we have to be overwhelming and overexcitable and over happy and over positive. No, those are all masks from the ego, because we're so afraid to be our true selves.
And I think it's different. Like I totally get it. It's some people will be overly happy because they want to be seen as being like that, because they want to be seen as being, happy and joyful and but people see through that because it's not true energy. It is kind of like fakery. It's just putting on that mask, as you said. But then there are some high energy beings that are authentically high energy. And but there are times that you can tone down that energy, or manage that energy that I suppose doesn't scare people off so much. So
exactly. Well, the other thing, what the difference is between the mask and authentic?
Yeah.
You can feel people when they're authentic. You can feel them within your vibrational flow, right? If they've got a mask on, you can't feel them.
No,
because
it's blocked.
There's no connection.
Yeah.
Your insecurity is showing up all the time through your ego. So your ego thinks that you have to be bigger and better than anything else. And that's when you completely cut off people. I was a receptionist as well.
Yeah.
And I loved it because guess what? Empath to empath, we love people. I love humanity. You know? And I love the ability of learning something new about somebody.
Yeah.
I love to feel their energy. I love to share with them. I love them to share with me.
Yeah.
And much like yourself, but I was also the same exact thing, same people.
Yeah.
They must have been talking. We must have been talking. They were same people on your phone that were on my phone. Yeah,
totally. And but then you started to to assess it. Like, I was only young at the time. I think I was only like maybe 18. And I kind of like learned to be able to recognize why some people were the way they were. And, I was just starting to understand energy. So, now, like you, I'm very spiritual. Like you, I'm very connected to the higher realms. And, superconscious success is all about our higher self. The superconscious, our higher self part of us that just believes in total fulfillment. It believes in who we truly are, our truth.
Yes.
And so when you actually are connected to your higher self, you have all these messages and all these downloads, all this guidance that comes from them, which we know as intuition. And so what importance does intuition play? If we tap into that of our higher self, then manifesting money is going to be way easier anyway, because our higher self guides us every step of the way.
Exactly. But we've become so attuned to listening to our head and
not our heart.
Not our intuition. So, but we've heard it. So what do? We take the intuition and we put it into our head, and then we have a committee meeting with it, right? And then before you know it, we got an argument going.
Yes.
And after the argument, then we got an all-out war. And I've got to tell you, I call it the mental mob scene.
Yeah.
Because it'll keep you up at night. It will keep you continually distracted. It will allow you to make the best mistakes of your life.
Yeah.
Because
the ego, totally. Yeah.
You're up here, yapping. So what I do is I teach people how to breathe. Yeah. Come on down into your body, quiet the mind, get present in the moment, and begin to feel. So what I usually do, start my sessions with breathing all the way down into the belly breathing.
Yes.
And then as you exhale, piercing your lips.
Okay.
And letting all of it out. And after about 3 or 4 times of doing that, all of a sudden their hands start vibrating. They've accessed their internal energy field. The mind quiets. and they can tap into their intuition. Because
Wow.
this thing isn't yapping. This thing wants to completely take control. Well, guess what? I hate to tell you, there is no such thing as control other than this controlling you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to come down and to be able to connect with that small inner voice. And when we do that, it never lies to us. It
Yeah.
continually guides us in the right place at the right time. Just like the interview. I mean, you just emailed me yesterday.
Yeah.
And I went,
Yes.
okay, well, sounds great. I love it. Okay, let me see what I can do, So
Yeah.
I took a look at my whole week and I said, no. Monday night's the best night.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's really interesting and what I absolutely love. And I love connecting with such high energy people, because what's great is that my higher self, because I am so connected and I'm so tapped in, when I'm searching for guests, as I do, my higher self tells me who I need to be connecting with. So I know that every single person that I have on, I'm going to resonate with. It's not
you
forced.
can feel it.
Yep.
Right. You can feel the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you know that you're in your higher power.
Yes.
And the other thing that's really important as well is that we need to learn how to love and send that love energy out, and especially to those energy vampires.
Yeah.
Not connecting with them,
Yep.
but sending them love, because they are desperate to be loved.
Yeah.
Somebody who's screaming and yelling at you, sending them love, because they're hurting on the inside. Anger is the secondary emotion.
Yes.
What's underneath there is hurt.
Hurt and fear.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing too is that you don't climb into their story.
Yes,
You
that's
hold
it.
your own space.
Which is what I was doing with my daughter. It was like, you don't climb into it, but you hold a space for them. And like you said, even people that are yelling and screaming at you, or people that are, rude to you or whatever, rather than get into their story and rather than allow your ego to take over and start saying, how dare they talk to me like that? That's disrespectful.
Yes.
Then you can go, okay, there's something behind it. I know who I am. And this comes to the self-worth as well. Once we recognize who we are, we don't have to step into that. We don't have to step into that story, and we can go, I'm sending love and light to you. And I hope that, that you start to love yourself, because this comes down to them not loving themselves.
Right.
And they're hurting.
Exactly. And they know how to love themselves.
Yeah.
Because they've never gone through or sought out healing for themselves.
Yeah.
And, it's just, unfortunately, they have to wait for the crisis for them to finally awaken and finally get help. And, some people, I say, please don't create a crisis before you come see me.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
A lot of people will. That's the unfortunate thing, is they come to see us at a time where they're really desperate. And they're like, I just need, I don't know why this is happening to me. And they're in victim mode. And it's like, the world is against me and everything's happening to me. And I say, everything's not happening to you. Everything's happening for you. What are you learning from what is happening right now? Even my relationships with narcissists and with energy vampires, I go, what is this teaching me? What is my higher self? This person's in my life for a reason. This person, this experience has happened for a reason.
Yes, exactly. So, and why are they there? Number one. Number two, we have to go inside and say, okay, what is it inside of me that would attract that?
Yeah.
What is it inside of me? What have I not healed yet that I'm seeing in that other person? Because as you know, we're all one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's taking a look at that other person and saying, okay, wait a minute, what's in there that I can't be with?
Yeah.
And then begin to heal that. But we heal that with what I call source energy.
Yeah.
And source energy can be called God. It can be called the universe. It can be called Yalla. It can be called whatever you want. But what that is, the bottom line is that it's unconditional love.
Love. Yep.
It's the energy of love. So we have to take a look to see where we are holding conditions on ourselves and others. Notice the judgments that we have and our agendas, what we are looking to accomplish. Why do we want to, on some level, control this individual, put all these conditions on so that we can get something from them? It's a whole ego story again.
Yeah,
a whole,
absolutely.
So
and I think go on.
So it's so important to go in and clean up your own stuff. And then, it's really kind of amazing because you've cleaned it up, you no longer have to attract that to heal the wound inside of you. But, so many of these energies that we hold on to, energy contractions, can be so subconscious.
Yeah.
And they don't really show up. And they can also be from our past lives as well. And many times they like to hide out.
Yeah,
they like to
absolutely.
chaos.
And I believe that some people that are in my life right now, I believe, are actually from past lives anyway. And you start to recognize this because you go, okay, there's some karma going on here. I've got some karmic relationships that are happening, and it's for a purpose of teaching me, my soul, a lesson. And so once you can start to recognize that, and you can start to go, this is what's happening. This is how I'm growing. This is how I'm expanding. And even with money, which is, an amazing energy, but even with money, recognizing my money blocks from very early on, and then recognizing it. I've had my past lives read. I've tapped into the Akashics, and understanding where my money blocks have come from past lives. And it all comes down to that energy. It all comes down to our vibration. So how important is it when we talk about money to visualize? How important is it for us to be able to see ahead and to be able to script and figure out what we want our money story to be?
Exactly. And I think that it starts with just working with the intentions of your money.
Yeah.
First of all, I love money. Thank you, money, for being in my life. I truly appreciate and am very grateful that you have blessed me, money.
Yeah.
And I will do my best on making sure that it is managed, that energy is managed through love.
Yeah.
So I love when a client comes to me and they hand me a check, for the program, and I have them hold it in their hands, and I hold their hands as well, and we bless the money.
Yeah.
And we say, thank you for coming into our life. Thank you for the abundance and the prosperity that I am now able to experience because you're in my life.
Yep.
And I think that we need to start with those affirmations and just talking to our money. Thank you, money. Oh my God, I'm getting another check. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So excited,
It's funny.
I
have a ritual where, on a regular basis, weekly, fortnightly, whatever it is, I'll go to the bank and I'll get out a whole lot of money because I love the feeling of money. I love the feeling of cash. I am much more adept to using that than card, just because I can feel it, and it's much easier to feel the energy. And it's funny because I'll do that. I'll put it in my purse, but I literally will go through every note, and I'll sit there and I'll have a little ritual, and I'll sit there and I'll go, thank you so much. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. I'm going to circulate you. And, I'll use all sorts of different essential oils that, that money loves, that money's attracted to. And I'm very, very, I look after my money. So if it's in my purse, it's clean, it's all upwards, it's all in the same position, because if we want to be loved, and if we want to be looked after, then we don't get scrunched up and chucked in the corner like how many people scrunch up their notes and they shove it in their purse and then think that that's going to make money feel good. Well, it's not. This energy is not going to feel good with that happening. So look after your money. If you're into feng shui as I am, there's so much that you can do to help with that money, and be appreciative when you're circulating. Okay, when you give
Yes,
money out, be
absolutely.
just as appreciative, because know that when you send money out, it's coming back to you.
Yes, exactly. And then the other thing too, when you get a bill, say, "Oh my God, how exciting!
Yeah.
I got a bill. Isn't this great? I now get to exchange the
Yep.
things that I had really wanted in my life, the material things that I really wanted in my life. And I now get to exchange that with my money and I can send that on.
Yep.
Isn't this amazing? You know, and just keep the circuitry going, keep it open, you know,
It's funny,
keep that
my kids,
gratefulness.
I did that the other day, and I got a bill, and I was jumping up and down, and my son just kind of looked at me and he goes, "Mum, what's that?" And I said, "I just got a bill." And he goes, "And why are you excited about it?" I said, "Because I
Mhm.
get to pay it."
Mhm.
And he goes, "Okay, now, Mum, that's a bit warped." He's
Yeah.
20, so he's kind of, and I said, "Yeah," I said, "but do you know what, mate?" I said, "Money loves to be circulated. Money
Yes.
loves to, I said, do you know that this electricity bill, I think it might have been electricity or something. I said, do you know that the electricity company trusted us to have all of that electricity before even charging us for it? And now I get to
Yes.
give it back." And,
Yes.
and it sounds crazy, but when you get into that new vibration, when you get into that, I'm not scared to receive bills anymore,
Yes.
then not only is it a nice experience, but at the same time, you find that you actually receive less of them. And it's not like, it's funny because it's just like, or it's, things just always work out. You've always got the money that you need when you need to pay it. You've always
Yes.
got the exactly.
And that's one of the things that we forget, you
Mm,
know, that we're always being provided for.
yeah.
There's always money coming in unless we decide to be couch potatoes or whatever and not get up and do what we know we need to do. I mean,
Yep.
you don't have to work, 90 hours a week,
No.
but because that goes into addiction then again,
Yeah. Work addiction.
workaholic. Yes, but it's you need action.
Mhm.
Okay, it's one thing to know that money loves you, but there has to be an action that's associated with it. So,
And I
not
think,
only
yeah, and I think when we started with the law of attraction, that was one thing that was missing. Was that
yes,
people didn't realize that, okay, it's like I'm a big fan of The Secret. Absolutely love it. It got me started on my whole law of attraction manifestation, but it didn't talk about the action side of it. But there is a difference because the action that we normally take, which is the hustle and the grind and the, oh my gosh, I got to do this again, is very different to the inspired action that we get when we're connected to our higher self.
yes,
That's that action
exactly.
that keeps you going until 2 o'clock in the morning because you are so excited and you're so pumped up and you got so much that you want to get out. And if you're in that
Uh-huh.
space, then that's when you're the best co-creator that you can
Yes,
be. So I think
yes,
action can either be the inspired action or the hustle and grind where, oh, I have to do this because this is my job. And but even if you're having to do something because it's your job, find a way to enjoy it.
yeah. Well, the other thing that I'd like to mention about The Secret as well is that really it was more of a head job.
Yeah.
It was affirmations. Let's sit there and let's talk about talk. Just give affirmation, affirmation, affirmation. And I'm like, no, no, no. You got to feel it. It
Yeah.
needs to be an intention, not an affirmation, a feeling, because you want to activate your internal energy field
Yeah.
because
And
we're all energy.
and I think
But
we're becoming more and more aware of that now, is that we're starting to connect. I mean, that was a great start. I think The Secret was a great
yes,
start because it talked about being able to reprogram and being able to alter our perception of things and to be able to look at the universe and go, look, we have this potential. We have this ability to bring money to us. We have this
yes,
ability to bring whatever we want. But now we're starting to recognize, okay, you can put affirmations together, but if you're not feeling those affirmations, if you're not
yeah.
feeling it from your innermost core, then it's not going to create change.
No, not at all, because you're living up in your head. And remember, this thing doesn't have feelings.
Yeah.
Your internal energy field, you have to tap into that. And that's what's so exciting
Yeah.
because when you set intentions, you make it in the present moment.
Yes.
I am now ready to receive my abundance. I am now ready to receive a new, my new client, my new ideal client. And then feel it, because you've had new clients before. Feel it. What does it feel like? What happens inside of the body? And then put more energy into that so that it expands, because the more that it expands, the more it goes out on the energy grid, and the more faster you create.
Yeah.
So.
And this is what you call the magic moment, right? Is that moment of being totally present, totally 100%.
Totally.
Even like doing something like doing the dishes. I can turn that into a present moment, into the magic moment where, you know, just feeling the dishes, just feeling the shapes of the dishes, and it can be with any task. Any task that you find mundane.
I'm always present.
Yep.
Because the more that you become, the more aware you become of being present, the more you can just be present. And you don't have to become aware anymore. You're just present. You're just there.
Just natural.
You know, and when you are, that's when you are authentic. That's when you are in your higher vibration.
Yeah.
And that's when people can feel you, you know, and that's when you can feel others, because you know immediately if somebody is talking about you, you can feel it. Yes. And I don't care if it's from Australia or it's from Turks and Caicos or it's from Italy or California, you know, you can feel them. If somebody pops into your head, know that they're talking about you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And we used to say, have your ears been burning? That's what we used to say. And they'd say, why? And I'd say, because we were just talking about you. And so it's kind of like that, you know, that whole concept. But it's very hard for people to figure that out, because it's like, well, how can my energy from Australia be felt by this person that's in the United States? Because we look at it and we look at our 3D reality, our physical body, but energy is able to be transmitted anywhere. And through this computer screen, we have energy being transmitted right now between us. And so, you know,
we had energy transmitting between us when I got your little note on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Okay. And then all of a sudden that energy started flowing. And you know, it was then at that point up to me whether or not I say yay or nay.
Exactly.
And I'm like, no, because I can feel your energy. And I was like, oh no, this is going to be fabulous. I'm so excited, you know, and you know, that's exactly what I call being present, this magic moment, because that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
And it's only in this moment that you have any kind of realization of, you know, because you can't do anything from your past and you're not in your future yet. You can't project into your future.
There's only ever the present.
There's always the present. And are there any problems in this moment?
No, exactly.
None.
So the more why worry about it?
Well, and the more that you're present in the moment, especially with your money, you'll begin to see that there is no problems that are happening. And you'll be able to take the action steps that are necessary because you're connected to your intuition to be able to take you into those action steps that are going to bring you more money.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're in that present moment, you're able to hear the messages from your higher self. When you're in that present moment, you're able to, your higher self will say, okay, you know, we've got this exchange that's coming up. This is what we're going to do. This is how you're going to bring in that money, or this is how you're going to create that wealth. If you are so busy and you're in your head so much, you're going to miss those messages.
You can't hear it. Are you kidding? You got the mental mob scene going. You can't hear anything up there.
The ego's taken over. Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
You know, I could talk to you for like hours, Laurina. Absolutely. But I'm pretty sure our listeners have probably got other stuff to do.
I think we did a pretty good job, honey. We've been talking for an hour. I think it's great.
And I think we have covered so much, because we haven't just covered money. We've covered energy in general. So we've talked about energy vampires. We've talked about empaths. We've talked about money. We've talked about self-worth. We've covered so much. But as I ask all my listeners, if you could give somebody 3 tips on what they could do right now in order to be
Okay.
able to change that money mindset, in order to be able to bring that money to them, what would you say?
First, I would tell them to identify and write down what those beliefs are.
Mm-hmm.
And then notice whether or not those beliefs have any truth in them.
Yeah.
And if they have no truth, then notice where they live within the body. Where does that vibration of the negativity live in the body? And breathe source energy into that place, wherever that contraction is, that energy contraction. Breathe unconditional love, source energy right into it. And then as you exhale, piercing your lips,
Mm-hmm.
breathe it out. Breathe it out.
Let it
and
go.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to feel it so that then let it go, and then be one with yourself and say, okay, all right, now what do I need to do in order to move myself forward and love my money? Because my money loves me.
Yeah.
What do I need to do to love my money so that I can grow it, so it can become so it can come into me easily without any effort?
Yep.
And what action steps, and write that down too. And then at the very end, say thank you to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to yourself. Breathe in unconditional love into yourself and say thank you. Thank you, self. Thank you, money. Thank you, God.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. That is amazing. I think that's true. And I think that until we can actually learn to love ourselves. I mean, I'm a big one for mirror work. So I love standing in front of the mirror in the morning and just projecting my intentions for the day, projecting my intentions for, for my biggest script, my biggest life ambitions. And I think if you do that, then you can raise your vibe instantly, because all of a sudden you've shown yourself that self-love. You've shown yourself how amazing you are, how incredible you are, what an amazing person you are. You don't have to do it where anybody else can see you, because I know that some people are a bit worried that, maybe people are going to think they're crazy. But
no, but if you haven't healed that part of yourself,
yeah,
it's really hard for somebody to stand, because
absolutely.
I have people writing appreciation letters to themselves, and I got to tell you, 3 sentences and they can barely even write that.
Yep.
So,
it takes practice.
Yeah, and you've got to write it out and then feel it. Bring
Yeah.
it into your heart. Breathe it into your heart. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Laurina. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up. Thank you for asking me. Thank you for being here.
And I always like to say that God doesn't make mistakes. So every single one of us are perfect. And every single one of us are going through the experiences we are supposed to be going through for our soul's expansion and our soul's journey. So don't be too hard on yourself. It's not, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just going through your own expansion. Give yourself that forgiveness, and give yourself that ability to love yourself and know how important that is. Because God loves you, your higher self loves you, Source loves you. And so it's just time for us to start.
Who are you not to love you, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
who are you
how selfish can we be?
Well, I can't thank you enough, Jen, for having me on.
You too, Laurina.
It's such a pleasure.
Like I said, I could talk to you for hours, and I think that our listeners would have gotten a lot out of this conversation, a lot. And I'm going to have to revisit it, because when you're in this vibe, sometimes your higher self takes over. And so I like to look back at my interviews and go, oh, what did I talk about again? So it's awesome. So thank you so much for being here. And before we do go, please let everyone know where they can get in touch with you, or how they can find you.
Excellent. You can find me on my website. It's LA@ishiftYourEnergy.com.
Awesome.
And that's also my website name as well, my domain name, ishiftYourEnergy.com.
Fantastic.
The other way that you get a hold of me is through WhatsApp, because if anybody's coming through, on the other side of the world, as I, I had Italy today, that's how we connect, is through WhatsApp. So, and that's Laurina Anderson.
Okay.
And that, just look for me and I will gladly answer. I'll be so excited to answer.
I'll have to do that. I've got WhatsApp on my phone. I'll have to connect with you today.
Please.
So, yeah, because I've only just started using it because I've got so many collaborators all over the world.
There you
some
go.
of them I have on there, and it's just so much easier than having to wait for emails or whatever. So thank you so much for your time. I definitely recommend that people get in touch with you, because your high energy is amazing, and I can see how passionate you are about what you do. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and we must keep in touch and and see what the higher selves have in store for us.
I've got to tell you, it's going to be fun no matter what it is, honey.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks, Laurina.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jen.